Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 Blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can go ahead and reply with those emotes. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes, or if you feel like being a lurker, just go ahead and lurk. Don't say anything, just hang out and chat. That's also okay. You can just do that. You don't have to chat away. You can just watch the stream and enjoy. Put it on your TV and or have it on your phone, whatever you want to do. John is here. Hello, John. Welcome, welcome. It is a Monday, and I'm starting a new model kit. The Shin Burning Gundam High Grade. Bought this off my my Amazon wishlist for myself because I do that on occasion. I go in and see, you know, like I keep an eye on sales. And see if there's something that springs up. Like tomorrow for Prime Day, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled to see if there's anything that shows up that I'm like, ooh, this would be good to pick up. That's a good sale price. I like to look for that stuff. So I do keep my eyes peeled for things here and there. Hey, Lord Crashton, welcome, welcome. So I picked up the Shin Burning Gundam. This is our second kit from the Build Fighters Metaverse, which is the celebration of the anniversary of Build Fighters. It is the Shin Burning Gundam. It's got a lot of stuff going on. It's like a version of a kit. It's got some cool effects parts. I'll pull out one piece of the effects parts right here. You can see it's going to have some cool wings. Oh, you can't really see that because of the way it removes it anyway. It's got cool effects parts because it's part of it is a burning Gundam. So it's got like flame wings and a big sword, a beam sword that's like got a curved blade for some reason. And because it's the burning Gundam, it kicks. That's the big thing there. Bobby Does Roller just resubbed 42 months saying, hi, Pat. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. And thank Bobby for being a subscriber for 42 months, which is a lot of months. Appreciate that. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. This might end up being a chill stream. I imagine a bunch of people... I don't necessarily think that a lot of regular viewers of the Build With Baer Workshop are instead watching the Home Run Derby. But there's got to be like one or two that are like, yeah, I'm going to watch the Home Run Derby, Pat. They're hitting dingers. And they got 40 pitches in the allotted time, and we're going to see how many home runs they can hit. And they changed how the bonus runs work. So I got to check that shit out, Pat. It's like, yeah, I get it. I understand. I will recommend this, folks. I watched a little bit of the Home Run Derby here. If you are going to go back and watch it, you want to avoid, because I don't usually watch baseball, but Home Run Derby is kind of fun, kind of neat to see. So I was watching a little of that. The young lady who sang the national anthem, she's a 4-time Grammy nominee. She's a singer-songwriter, and I have to imagine she's been nominated for the songwriting part. She sang real fucking bad. Like, real bad. It was a poor performance, and it will haunt her for some time, which is a shame. But she did real bad with it. It was rough. Bobby says, I feel like most Pat watchers also like MLB would probably be watching both at the same time. Yes. So I guess that's a fair point. If you like what I do and you also want to check out the Home Run Derby, then you could figure out a way to do it. You know, having a TV in the same room as your computer, you got one on your phone. Yeah. And Lord Crashton says, I'm watching the StatCast feed that is all nerd stats so I can avoid the betting shit. Yeah. We were watching, my friends and I were watching it. We were focusing on that feed as well. We still got some statistics stuff at the beginning about betting, but it was mostly about percentages and all of that. And there were some plugs for the official, you know, ESPN betting bullshit. But for the most part, it was kind of reduced in that respect, which was good, you know. Nobody needs it. We don't need all that bedding stuff. We just don't need it all. All right. So we're starting with the head of this kit, which is fine. To start with the head, it does mean that right in the beginning of the stream, I am going to be applying 3 stickers, and honestly, that's fine. I think that is a fine amount of stickers at the start of a show or a stream to do. I'm okay with that. One thing about this head that freaks me out every time I look at it is it's asymmetrical. The head is asymmetrical. The head is asymmetrical. It only has one little ear thing. And that's always weird to see because you're expecting it to have 2 and it doesn't. And that throws me off every time I look at it. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. But it'll be fine. Everything will be okay. We'll get this all built here. Let's get some stickers on this kit. The many stickers we have to put on here. There's only 4 stickers on the head. Now they're talking about how somebody with a launch angle around 20 degrees is able to get it out, and that it should be at least about 25 to 28 degrees for the optimal angle. Yeah, just like that kind of stuff is a lot. I don't really myself need all of that. I'm not that deep. Mainly, it's just like, I don't know, the home run derby's kind of fun. Just hit a bunch of dingers, see what happens. You know, you get the guy who goes up first, who's like the worst of them, you know, does better than the next like 3 people, and you're like, huh, all right, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I was watching a little bit. I'm not going to go, here's the thing, I'll tell you this, friends, I'm not going to go back and watch what I missed. You know, I'm not going to go get caught up on it, but have something on, be in a chat room with some people that I like, talking about whatever, mostly about the baseball. Like, yeah, that's a fun Monday night leading into this stream. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that all day. That's a good time. What I have been doing a lot these past few days has been eating food at restaurants. Talked about the Friday stuff. Yeah, so my uncle is in town. My great uncle, the brother of my grandfather, the last remaining of the brothers, because there were several of them. He is down. He is 93. You're right. Yes, he does still fly. 3 years ago, he told us this was the last time that he was going to do this. And then 2 years ago, he was like, I'm coming to visit. And we were like, oh, you're still doing it, huh? And that has remained. He continues to do it, to fly to come visit, which is great. He has come down here from Connecticut. He is going to go, why is this not connected? This needs to go into here. There. Okay, there it goes. His next step is to go, and he's going, I believe, to my cousin, and then also he'll be staying with my cousin's parents. And that will, I believe, wrap up his trip, which is awesome, and it's neat, and it's nice to see him. I have seen him more in the past 4 years than I had in previous like 8 to 10. Just because it's easy to see him now, which is very cool, and I'm very blessed about that. All right, let's get these other stickers on. Bobby says, I went to London recently, my first international trip. I spent the entire time eating at restaurants pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You're on the go, you're traveling. I'm not traveling. It's just we want to take him to places. So we, on Sunday, we went out to breakfast, which was very nice. And then later we went out to dinner. So I did not have lunch, and I'm a guy that generally has, lunch. I generally don't have breakfast. We had a late breakfast and then had kind of an early dinner. And then tomorrow we're going out for a big lunch, which is also not necessarily my style, but sure. And then we went out to dinner on Friday. And honestly, that is the least amount that I have eaten out with him in his time visiting us for generally about a week. But on Thursday, my mom and him went out to lunch. So I just wasn't there. So he has gone out quite a bit. But why not, right? It's nice. It's nice to get a good big breakfast out somewhere, go to a place that is not a diner but has diner vibes. Went to a place that I really like, owned by a Greek family, so it's got that kind of pedigree of, oh, this isn't necessarily a diner, but it's got that energy. You know, you can get breakfast all day, that kind of a vibe. So that was nice. I had a Philly cheese, or yes, it was a Philly steak. They didn't call it a cheese steak, but they called it a Philly steak omelet. So it had peppers and onions and shaved steak and mozzarella cheese in an omelet form, and that was very tasty. And home fries, that was real good. I got a biscuit because even though I live in South Carolina, I do not have a lot of biscuits because we don't go to a lot of home cooking Southern places, really. We do on occasion, but we don't get it out there too often. So let's see, I need H2. It's G. Here's H2. No, that's I. Where's H? H, there you go. I had these parts in the wrong place. I'm finding them now. There we go. There is H2. That's what I need. Get H2 here and find H2. Okay, great. There it is. H216. Excellent. But yeah, it's been nice to go out and get some stuff. Service has been fine. Folks that were here on the Saturday stream remember that I had an issue on Friday of just like I had to go into New York Pat mode to not be like asking questions but making declarative statements. And this is what's going to happen kind of vibes, which I don't mind busting out, but I rarely have had a need to here in South Carolina. I've really had to be the like, I am going to insist on this happening right now because this is unacceptable. I did not use the phrase unacceptable. But yeah, to basically a little good pat, bad pat. Yeah, I mean, really what it is just like in the South, the best way to get things done is to just be like, would you be a dear? And, you know, you put on the charm. That's generally how everybody operates. But, and I vibe that way, right? I'm not vibing the aggressive because the aggressive escalates. In New York, aggressive generally doesn't escalate. It's just matched. You just match energy. And so I'm matching the energy here. But, you know, it was taking so long to get anything happening, and we were all getting frustrated that I went from like, would you please, to, okay, so I'm going to need this and this to happen. Like, just like insistent, no room for negotiation, no room for, oh, well, we'll see if we can do it. Like, no, this is what needs to happen. Like, I just had to go into get things done mode, which I don't mind doing. I have said this about a number of things in my life and a number of places. I'm sure I've said on stream. I'm sure it's been a while since I said that, but I never mind being the bad guy. I will always be the bad guy if necessary, if needed. I will always be the guy in the situation that like is suddenly saying the thing that other people would like to avoid. Like, I have no problem getting it done. Speaking of getting done, I can't get this done. Let me see if this nubbin, this is supposed to slide in here. Obviously, this little piece, this little tiny red piece in my hand is going to hold our fin here in place. So the fin goes in place. We kind of put it where we need to put it. There. And this is going to go over it, and it's going to slide in. It should slide in like this, but it's not. So I'm going to take the fin off a little bit here and kind of put it where I need it. People talk about Southern Gentleman, but Pat busting out Southern Villain. Well, Southern Villain is, yes. Southern Villain is just a different thing. Gotta wait to go Karen on. Yeah, I mean, look, Chris, that's kind of what it is, right? It is the kind of that thing. Because here's the thing, right? Some of the meanest people I ever met in my life have been down here in South Carolina. They just do it with a smile. They just do it. New York, you know, northern aggression New York busybodies, people that have shit to do, they don't have time to be rude to you. They've got places to be and other people to be mad at. But, you know, South Carolina says it with a smile, and, you know, bless their hearts, but fuck that shit. Sometimes you just want to, like, and it's nice because you're not dealing with confrontation, but you also are dealing with just like some of the rudest attitude hid behind pleasantries. Gotta save the anger for the Northerners. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like I said, I don't find myself in a situation. I got this. I finally got this together. Where I am the aggressor in situations. I try to be chill and match energy, but sometimes you got to put your fucking foot down. You want to get your results. Like in the South, primarily at a restaurant, you know, hey, wait staff's got it hard. I have all the sympathy in the world for them, legitimately. Tip well, cut people an enormous amount of slack, especially when it is policy changes. Do you charge more to run a credit card, and that something you used to eat, the restaurant used to eat that, and you don't eat that anymore, and now you pass on the bill to the consumer? I think that sucks, but I totally understand. And I also know that the wait staff has no say in that because they don't, you know, hey, maybe they would prefer you use cash because you're going to get a tip. Then, you know, maybe get a tip that way. And, you know, like, or they want to automatically have the tip be included. I understand that. I get that. I'm not here to say anything like that. But also sometimes it's just bad service. So usually, you know, I'll be very flexible. I'll be very understanding. I do my best to be like, hey, we're having this situation. I'd like this thing to change. And is there any way we could do this? You know, is there any way is kind of my go-to in these scenarios. And often there is a way. I'm not going in just being like, hi. But sometimes you got to put your foot down. Sometimes you got to be like, okay, well, this waiter has a lot of tables and there's not enough wait staff. And this waiter is not checking. This waiter has not checked in with us. This waiter is not attentive to our needs. And we need to make a change here because otherwise we're never going to get out of this place. So I am now going to put my foot down and make some noise and make things happen. Do I want to do that? Oh, fuck no, I don't want to do that. I want to be chill. It's like I'm out to dinner with my great uncle and my parents, and I want it to be a good time. But sometimes you got to put, you know, sometimes you got to be like, oh, nope, okay, well, someone's going to have to be the worst. Like, if I was the worst customer for that waiter that night, then that's my cross to bear, and I will bear it. And that's not fine, but I'm fine with it. Because somebody has to be the worst customer. So it might as well be me, and my insistence that we get the cappuccinos that we ordered, and also that we get the check as soon as fucking possible. Because we're not going to sit here and wait 45 minutes for the check because our waiter has to keep taking new orders from new tables within earshot and then not make eye contact with us. So, you know, sometimes you got to be that guy. And I don't mind being that guy. I've never minded being that guy. All right, I am now moving on to the chest. We have done the head. The head is done here. It's looking pretty cool. We got some stickers on there. This is unrelated to what I was just talking about, but I have to point this out. There was a recent update, fairly recently, to OBS. We are on OBS 30.2.0. Mostly, there's some back-end stuff they are doing a better job with. If you want to stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, they're like working on making that integration work better for simulcast stuff, which is great. I'm very excited that they're working hard on that. Ooh, I can do this 2 times. Oh, yeah, I can do this 2 times. All right. Let me get out PC10 while I'm here. And that's very cool. There's a bunch of small little changes. One of the big changes is they're like, we're going to try to make the sound bar better for people to use. And they changed how the sound bar looks, which is in my case, the audio mixer below my preview. Yeah, I think they added a per application audio capture easier. Yes, that is a thing. They're trying to make audio capture easier. I use display as opposed to using application, just because I think it's easier, and because I'm not capturing it, you know, like I'm not going out of my way to capture, because I don't have a capture device on a different computer and all that. I'm just capturing my screen. I usually just do monitor capture and then just have it be display audio. But they're desktop audio, I should say. Hey, Meep, welcome. They've changed some stuff up, and that is good, but it does mean, and it's more vivid and brighter. But one thing about the latest update to OBS is they changed where the mute is, where it shows up, and I don't like that. Which is let's see if can I do this here. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Let's do that. Okay. All right, so I did that, and then if I go here, I should have taken this screen cap before, and I didn't. So my apologies. There we go, and then save it to the desktop, and then open the desktop, and then add an image. This is taking way too long, but whatever, just understand to feel my pain. Okay, so this is how the bar looks now. This is the new bar. You can see there the volume, which also was where the mute was. You can see my desktop audio is muted. It's not muted now. I muted it just for this image. And then my mic is not muted. This used to be over on the other side. They switched the sides. So when I'm looking, I don't see it anymore because it's not where it used to be. I wonder if I have an image that I can bring up for that. I might have that. Yeah, all right, let me see if I can find that. I used to keep a photo of my settings because it was nice to have. I don't think I keep, yeah, I don't have that photo anymore. Okay. I thought I might have that. Do I keep it in frames? No, I don't keep it in frames. I don't keep it in emote. I don't keep it in main. Anyway, I used to have that. What happened here? Sorry. I got an email of some sort I want to look at real quick here. Oh. Okay. Anyway, I don't have it before, but they switched it. They moved it. And it's not where it used to be. It's somewhere new, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate where they put it because I'm not used to it yet. I do like the vibrant colors. It's more neon than it was before. I think that's going to be beneficial in the long run. So I'm not opposed to it. I just wish they hadn't. I don't know if moving the placement of that was great. Maybe people are fucking psyched about that shit. And everyone's just like, hell yeah. Now it's at a place where it should be. It should have been here the whole time. I don't know. I can just tell you that at quick glance, it's going to constantly make me worried that my mic is not muted when I am not streaming, because I want my mic to be muted when I am not doing this. You probably can understand why that would be the case. Or like every once in a while, I will go live and I will just have the desktop audio muted, and that's not good. Or I will have my mic unmuted. Desktop audio will be playing. You can hear the desktop audio. I'm getting ready for the stream. I'm alive and everything's going. And then like, I then suddenly realize, oh shit, my mic is not muted. And I could, if I had been talking to myself or something, people would have heard it. I don't like that. Or sometimes I will be hanging out in a Discord video thing, talking to people. And then I will go and hang out in a place where we're all watching something together and not talking, and my mic will not, I will have forgotten to mute my mic. Like, oh no, sorry. Usually that's not a problem. People just start hearing me fiddling around with stuff. I often don't keep, hey, this microphone where it is right now would be in the way of me doing things. So I don't keep this microphone like this during non-streaming time, it goes away. It swivels away from me. And that's great because it does mean that if I left my mic unmuted and while I'm doing something, it's not like right in my face. That would be wild and a fucking problem if that's how it was. I know there's a thing I could have in Discord where if I join a video conference or something or a video chat, that my mic is automatically muted. And I don't remember exactly how to enable that, but I think I probably should just for my own peace of mind. Okay. So now we're working on here on the chest pieces here, working on the part of the chest here where the arms are going to connect. So we're getting these things together now. I do not have any stories of major layoffs at game developers or any stories at video game journalism sites. I don't have either of those things, which is kind of wild and kind of cool. It's been, I think, 3 streams in a row. We did have that one story where like, oh yeah, this one studio is trying to make everybody go back. Techland is trying to make all their employees go back to the office, which is probably going to cause a bunch of those people to quit. One would assume. But speaking of journalism, I will say that the embattled folks over at Ziff Davis, yes, they've laid off the people that will report on the stories. And in some ways, yes, they have done that. This should be 11, but that doesn't look right. Oh, okay. I'm supposed to point it like that. Got it. But yes, the fine folks at Ziff Davis will not be striking. This is a journalist at Lifehacker, Mashable, and PC Mag. Are forming a union. They did like a kind of like early walkout of a day to basically just be like, hey, we're doing this. And guess what? They planned on doing it tomorrow on Prime Day to get hopefully to get a bunch of press. They've reached a 3-year contract deal. They have to vote on it, but it's a tentative deal with Ziff Davis. Looks like a guaranteed wage increase by about 3% in the first year. Guaranteed plus possible more. And they're going to vote on the 24th to ratify it. And it looks like it will be retroly paid back to April 1st. When their contract expired. They've been working without a contract. So this was them getting ready to strike because of that. And now, yeah, it'll be retroactive, which is awesome. And then the AI protections they're getting, if ratified, are something that people really need to look at. No member will be laid off or see a decrease in their base salary as a result of an implementation of generative AI technology. That's huge. Basically, they're just like, you can't say that this job is redundant because of AI. Members will be part of an AI subcommittee, which will evaluate the use of generative AI technology and discuss plans, opportunities, and issues regarding its implementation, as well as its ongoing management. If the company intends to implement generative AI tools that would assist the creation of editorial work and impact the work of union members, the committee would be given reasonable notice and opportunity to discuss first. Does that mean that things will change? No, but it gives them the heads up that they're going to have to get loud about things. When it's time to get loud, they'll know it's time to get loud. These are nice things to know. It also includes remote work protections and more formalized process for members to be promoted and benefit from professional development. It's great shit. Great shit for those folks. Good to see. And yeah, I hope unions going further or people that are organizing to form a union will take this as an example of the way it works. This is a 62-member union for Ziff Davis Creators Union, which is part of the News Guild of New York. Let's see. Over the last 2 weeks, we prepared ourselves to walk out over Prime Day. says Jordan Miner, senior apps and games analyst with PC Mag and a writer. Check out his book, Video Game of the Year. We braved the heat, distributed informational flyers to public outside company headquarters in Manhattan, and held packed strategy sessions in the event. We could not reach a fair deal by Prime Day. This tentative agreement shows that all that hard work or collective action and solidarity paid off. And yes, it seemingly did. So congratulations to those folks for making this shit happen. Good for them. All right, so this. Wait. There it is. That's the part I need. This part. Got it. I was confused for a second. I am now no longer confused. Bobby says, the wildest one to me is still Zoom trying to make people go back to the office. Like, you guys, your whole software. What? Yeah. Zoom trying to say that to make Zoom a successful company, they need to have everyone hands-on. It's like, don't say that out loud. You're trying to tell businesses that they need you to continue to work. Like, why are you advertising that, well, at some point you got to go back to the office? It's like, what? What are we doing here? Yeah, that one was wild. You know, we did talk about Rockstar trying to get people back to the office because they wanted all hands on deck, as they need GTA to come out next year. So they were trying to bring everybody back because, and that just means, oh, cool. You just expect everybody to stay in the office late and work overtime and come in on Saturdays and do all that other shit. And you don't think you can control people that way if they're in their homes. So cool. Cool. Great. That's rad. Great, Rockstar. Hell yeah. For thee, but not for me. Yes, indeed, and John. I skipped a step here, and so now I'm going back and doing the step I was supposed to do. Bobby says, I work in program IT. I firmly believe there are times when it's really helpful to have people in the person, but all the time, no. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, look, I have worked in creative fields. I can tell you that having people in a room bouncing ideas off one another works really well. I'll also tell you that there's never a reason to have customer service people in a room together. You don't need that. Like the place, the place I currently work the most for, but all of the places I have done for, one place they did have weekly meetings that were not on Zoom, and you had to go in person to do it. And I did not work there long enough for that to matter for me. And they have not gone back to that. They just instead moved to a smaller office for their like sales staff because they realized it didn't make sense to have it. They didn't need it, and it worked fine without it. But yeah, I mean, I know that like Creative 2, you work in a sketch show. Yeah. Oh yeah, your in-person stuff, you're bouncing off ideas, you know, like that stuff can be better in person, and I'm not saying it won't, but I am saying like in the case of, we talked about on Saturday, but in the case of Techland, they don't have enough room in their offices for all their employees because they staffed up during the pandemic, and they don't have, some of those employees don't live in the same country anymore because they're working from home. Like, they're just like not, so beyond the like, hey, you know, this part of the job, like, come on. But also, like, you said this was fully remote. Don't change your minds with people when they've signed a contract. But also, like, if you're not feasibly able to do it, then don't fucking do it. Like, what are we talking about here? Sorry, I'm getting some email pop-ups, so I'm just going to check that. We'll see what's going on here. Sorry, I'm getting some things popping up here. Check this real quick. Sorry. Oh. Well, thank you very much, Bobby, for that Ko-Fi. I appreciate that very much. That's very kind of you. That rules. Appreciate you very, very much. That will go into the fund to buy more model kits in the future, which is always helpful. Meep says, I did appreciate the camaraderie of working together in person when working tech support, emotional support from people going through the same BS. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. Yeah, I prefer, like, you know, like, I don't prefer Slack for anything, but I certainly prefer doing customer service on my own and not in a room full of people with having, like, all of that stuff always felt like, what are we trying to do here? Are you trying to get my work, you need to get my work done, or are you trying to, like, hold power over me? Like, I wasn't quite sure on that one, so I have preferred, you know, all the gigs that I do that are remote only at this point, because yeah, I'm not a big fan of that part of the in-person. Like I said, I understand it. I do think that a job that says you don't have to do it and then suddenly is like, actually, like, nah, I think we're okay here. I think we're all right. Hell yeah, let's get this going here. Okay, got this going, and then I got to do C2 here. Yeah. Let's see. A horror game that a co-op horror game that I've never heard of because I am not the target audience for said horror game is doing really well. Murky Divers, which is a co-op horror game from Embers Studio, it sold 100,000 early access copies in about a month. Murky Divers sold 100,000 copies. It launched this month, or sorry, last month in June. It is a debut for the developer Embers, and apparently it's really big with content creators, which, like, yeah, that makes sense, and so much so that the publisher, the guy who runs the publisher, maybe incorrectly, I'm going to say he might be jumping the gun here, but he was like, we're going to focus on catchy content creator focused games because the success of this one game. And I was like, that feels like following trends, my guy, but all right, you do you. But yeah, that was what I was like, oh, that seems cool. Apparently, because this is from game developers, so this is really about the publisher, less about the game. But they basically, their strategy is they're like, well, we don't take as big a cut as other publishers, so that way we can work with smaller groups, and also probably not invest as much. But yeah, I wish this article was more about the thing, and maybe it would be more about like the success of Murky Divers rather than that. I will say it's an early access. It is a $6 game, so 100,000 copies of a $6 game is still a bunch of fucking money. And so I am not, believe me, I am not here to say that that is not a success story. 100,000 units for an early access game is wild and cool. But I should make it clear that is not nothing to sneeze at. But it is $6, so it is less of an upfront investment. And I imagine it'll probably go up once the game comes out. They'll make it more expensive right before it ends, so they can then have a discount and get that sweet discount for the first day. It is being compared to Phasmophobia, not Phantasmagoria. Phasmophobia, Lethal Company, and Content Warning, in that it is horror-ish and multiplayer. But yeah, people seem overall reviews very positive. A little under 1,000 reviews, and it is recommended in early access. Yeah, people seem down for it, so that's cool. I had not heard of this because this is not a game that, like, I could see maybe somebody that I follow who doesn't play a lot of games playing it with some friends, but that just does not seem like a game that is something that would show up on streams that I watch and consume, you know. Yeah, yes, Lord Crashing did for a game that probably didn't have a lot of like they you know like probably didn't have a lot of buzz going into it and high expectations in early access. They were hoping, I'm sure, but they weren't expecting it. So yeah, having 100,000 is probably fantastic. They're probably fucking thrilled. Yes, crazy. I could see Let's Nope, the horror focused game, the horror game focused stream from Loading Ready Run. I could see them checking that out. Loading Ready Run is currently involved in their subathon, their capped subathon. I watched a little bit of it today. I will watch more of it. I missed the beginning, but I watched some. And we'll probably raid them on Tuesday, tomorrow. Speaking of Tuesday, shout outs. Please check the stream Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come back here and hang out as I dive into Mech Builder. Mech Builder is coming out tomorrow. We checked it out during the Steam Demos stream that I did, but that is having its full release, and so we'll be checking that game out. It does appear that it's mostly, the demo was like just some of the game. I do not know how much it is because it's not out yet, but it is coming out tomorrow. I do have the game. I did receive that a code, so I will of course mention that that I did receive a code for it. But you know, I'm not being paid to play it or anything like that. I was just offered a code, which I accepted. Yeah, so it is not sponsored content, but it is code received. So we'll check that stream out, so we'll check out that game tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm looking forward to that. I did do some of the demo or the tutorial stuff just to kind of get through it, because it does do like, hey, disassemble parts, snap them together, move them around. Okay, now here's how you use the instructions. Okay, great. Now let's worry about adding decals. Great. What about paint? Okay, and then it moves on from there. So I did decrease that, or I did get through some of those a little early, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's see. What was this? Valve has made it easier for developers to link to their social media profiles on their Steam pages, which is great. So that you don't have to go and like search Twitter or search Google for the name of the developer because you're trying to find out, oh, do they use their name or do they use the game name or whatever? They made that easier. Remove the cumbersome authentication loop for adding links to social media pages. You just do it in text fields. They support Discord and YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X, formerly Twitter. But right now, officially you can't add a link to TikTok, which always seemed weird. Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, Co-host, or Be Real. I still think it's weird that you can't link to your TikTok because a lot of developers have TikToks accounts. Which is they have the same thing for their Instagram Reels. Yeah. Yes, crazy. Really should have. And apparently, they've backfilled a bunch of social media pages. You just update it to add new stuff. And let's see. Apparently, the tool they were using is an API-based tool, and they had to like change it around and fix it. Basically, like APIs for a bunch of those platforms change. Really, what it is just like API changes to X probably, and also maybe Reddit. Was probably why they were slow to do it. But also, they are, this was basically, they're still getting, they did this. They're going to remove social media links from curator pages. And curators, some curators are upset about that, but it's like, it's just harder to verify those information being accurate. So they're not going to do that. Which is like, I'm not crying over that, but I'm sure some people are. But they basically just going to make it easier for developers to update their social media stuff on their store pages. And that's nice news. That's some good news. Good for them. We have finished the head and the chest of our kit here. We are now going to move on and start working on one arm. Looks like we're going to do one full arm and do the other full arm. So we'll start with the right arm. Is this? Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I'm like, is this? We're still in color. I was like, how many pages are in color? There's one more page in color after this. Then we go to black and white. I was like, because I was like, this can't all be fully in color. That would be wild. It's not fully in color, all of it. But more than like a page, and I'll take that. That's still cool. It does feel weird going back to polycaps after working on several kits. The Shira, or Shiva, the Shiva kit, and of course all of the Witch from Mercury kits do not have polycaps. So it is weird, and you know, especially that master grade, it is weird to suddenly go back to them. But a lot of these parts are from the Burning Gundam from 2015, so of course there are polycaps. There are some new pieces. I think they're 2023 marked as. This is clear, so it's hard to read. Yeah, 2023. But a lot of these parts, again, are for 2015, so I am not surprised that some of these parts do require polycaps. Like, I'm not, like, shocked. H213. Here you are. What parts are these from? Yeah. Yeah, so it's a mix, but a lot of them are from 2015. So you're like, okay. Just like this part here, like this is a new part because it's got to have the symbols that are new for this kit, the shoulder symbols. So that's got to go in there, whereas they weren't there in the other version of the Burning. It's like, that makes sense. So I will have an extra part here in the future. D15. Of course. Because it would have been this part here, D14. We're not going to use that. We don't need it. We don't need it. When we will be putting on stickers. Because kit's got to have some stickers on it. All right, I need F7 and F6 and a sticker. A lot of top heavy on the stickers, but also all these cool clear parts. Look at them. They're so cool looking. Clear blue, rad as hell. So I need 6, which is this. Whoop, what happened here? Nathan just resubbed a tier 2 for 24 months. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Thank Nathan. Nathan, enjoy the blue emote. Me as Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Pat, I appreciate you very much. Let's do the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in chat if you got it. Welcome to tier 2. We're happy to have you there. A You and a Wrist fan, hold down the fort. Appreciate you very much for that. It's very kind of you. And of course, everybody, thank you for your continued support. For people that are subscribers and people that aren't. People that just want to hang out. That's also fucking cool as hell. It's nice. Tell your friends. I guess I don't say that enough, but you know, you're hanging out in a Discord and someone says something about like, oh, I gotta find some new streams to watch. You're like, oh, yeah. You want to see somebody build model kits and talk about pop culture stuff? You know, pop in there. See Pat Baer. He'd be happy to have you. All right, let's get this together here. We're getting this together here. In the second hour, we will talk about some anime. A show that, after the second episode, I am not sure if I'm going to continue. I think I'm giving it 3 episodes. But mainly based on the previous works of the mangaka of this. Because the second episode, I'm like, I don't know about this one. And then another show that, like, I'm going to fucking do my best because it's weird as shit and wild. And I don't know, like, I'm going to watch it weekly, and I think I'm going to cover it weekly, but it's so dense of bullshit that I'm like, I don't know if I should be covering this weekly. But that's in the second hour. We'll talk about some anime, and I'll talk about my D&D session here. Played a little 3E, hanging out. Not my regular D&D crew. This is part of the collective, and it's been a while since I talked about what that means, because I always call it the collective, and I don't actually explain that, so I'll probably do that in the second hour, because, like I said, I haven't done that in a while, and I probably should explain myself. Probably for the best that I tell people what I'm talking about when I say these things, so that people know what I'm up to. It's probably important to occasionally explain what I'm talking about. I was very funny. I was going on, this was like a year ago, probably, maybe even 2 years ago, where I was going on a rant with something about something, and then somebody in the chat just asked a question that was like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know what you've been talking about here. It was about some subgenre. It was probably about isekai, but I remember it was an anime thing, and I was like, oh, sure, yeah, okay, here we go. Here's my basic explanation. And they were like, awesome, thank you. I was like, yeah, you're right. I do have to put a sticker on here. Oh, well, there's 2 stickers, actually. Sorry. F3 and F9. We'll put on F9 first and do a 3. Basically, we got this ridge here that you would think, oh, you put, I'll put my marker on there. No, it's going to be a big sticker. So I got to do one of these here. So we'll start with 9 and 3. This is the outer edge sticker here. Ooh, come on. There we go. Speaking of shows we're probably dropping, I don't think that Deer anime is for me, says Lashmark. Well, that is the show that I am really enjoying, but I have no idea if I should be talking about it on a weekly basis. It's not Pop Team Epic levels of there's so much going on and there's so much context needed, because it's not Pop Team Epic. It's maybe like Oh Super Milk Chan, closer to that, of like complete and utter nonsense, where I'm like, I don't know if I can properly convey what's going on here. But I understand, Lashbrook, if after 2 episodes you're like, I don't know. But I do think my dear friend Nokotan is pretty great. This is not like the best. Here's the thing. Winter 2024 was one of the best seasons of anime in years. And then spring was like fine. And summer is good or great even. It might be great because it's still early, right? I think everything's debuted, but there might be like one show that hasn't debuted yet. So don't quote me on that. I think everything is debuted, but there might be like one thing that isn't out yet. It does feel strong because Oshinoko Season 2 was out and like a bunch of things. But like the fact that the first half of Delicious in Dungeon and the second half of Frieren aired at the same time is wild. I think a lot of shows are just totally okay, but in a weird competition this year. Where there is some stuff that I'm like, this is strong, this is cool, but it hasn't like, I haven't been wowzered yet by anything in this particular set. There's a lot of like comfort anime this season. The action series one of which is an isekai, but the action series that are like, it's a guy and these cute twins that he's taking care of as like a big brother, and they go on adventures and it's fun. Or this dumbass wanted to be an adventurer, and now he's coming out, he's like getting back into it because he's hanging out with like very strong weirdos, and now he's like gonna be strong, but he's humble about it. Or this dumbass is the best in the world at parrying, And he doesn't have any self-confidence about that. But other people do. Like, there's just like a bunch of those action series where you're like, all right, these are pretty fucking dope. This is pretty fun. There's like a bunch of shows this season that are like, this is pretty great. And there are a couple shows that are like, and like, I haven't even watched some of them. Like, there are a couple out there that I haven't checked out. So, Aurelia. Did Aurelia even come out yet? Because I don't think I've watched it yet. Let me check Andy Sharp real quick. I think it has come out, and I just haven't watched it. Let's see. So let's do title. This is the summer 2024 season. A journey through another world, raising kids while adventuring is very cute. That's just been really fun. Let's see. Dahlia in Bloom has aired. Okay. It's got, yeah, let me check. Let me just quickly look at that. 12 episodes. It started on July 6th. Okay. So it did start. I haven't even started that one. That's on my list of things I got to get to. Dahlia and Bloom, crafting a fresh start with magic tools. Magical tools, I should say. That manga is really enjoyable. It's really slow paced. It's a bit of a slice of life isekai. But I really enjoyed the manga. What I read of the manga, I didn't read all of it. I'm not up to date on it. But what I did read of it, I was really enamored with. So I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta pick that up. I don't know. There's like a lot of comfort anime this season. And then like Oshinoko is one of your big ones of just like, this is gonna be, you know, like, there's drama everywhere. If you want the like idol drama stuff, they've got that. If you want the murder mystery stuff, theoretically, there'll be more of that. In my opinion, not enough, but that's because I care about that mystery more than I care about I don't particularly care too much about, is this mangaka in the universe of the anime, is their vision going to be well represented in the stage play? Like, I'm not as interested in that as I believe the anime wants me to be. So I'm like, okay, I do hope it's good, but like, what about the part where this guy's father set up his mother for death, his mother's death, and like, who is it? Who's the person behind it? I'm like, that stuff to me is more interesting. Because I also don't think that Oshinoko is ever going to talk about like the reincarnation aspect of it. Like, I actually think they shouldn't explain it. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they'll ever will explain it. I feel like they shouldn't explain it because often when shows try to explain this stuff, it's terrible. So like, don't tell me why this young lady and this doctor who both passed away got their soul reincarnated as the twin children of this idol they both knew. Like, I don't need that. I think it's okay. I'm like, I think it's all right if I don't know that part of it. Like, why did that happen? Like, a weird twist of fate. I'm like, I think I'm okay not knowing. But also, maybe I will know. Maybe they'll fucking tell me. I don't know. Maybe they'll go real deep in it and really get into it. And be like, oh no, this is why that happens. Yes, the exposition episode. Or like, I am not going to say it because it's manga only, and there are some people that watch Dr. Stone. But Dr. Stone, I will tell you, this is a minor spoiler. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Dr. Stone explains why. The big why gets explained to Dr. Stone, and it is a plot point, and figuring that shit out is there. And I think it's bad. I think that show needed, the manga needed to explain the why, because it's a show about science, ostensibly, and so you want to have a scientific explanation for events. But I laughed when I started realizing, oh shit, we're getting into We're figuring it out. We're unraveling this. Ha 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 ha. Oh no. It's still better than Gibate. Gibate, if I remember correctly, the virus that turned people into monsters was a byproduct of aliens landing on the planet and them trying to change the atmosphere so they could breathe there, caused this mutation, and then a girl wished hard enough that people would come in and save the day, and that manifested in people from the past, because she had looked at an art exhibit, so people from the past were summoned to the present to fight the alien threat. I'm spoiling that of Gabate because it's terrible. It's a terribly animated show. It was a bad thing, and you shouldn't watch it. But I remember that just being like, oh, fuck off. It was aliens. And then also, I'm not going to say one of the aliens, it was very obvious what was up with one of the aliens. It was like, oh, yeah, of course you're an alien. Sure. One of them it wasn't, but that one it was like, oh, okay. That was not a good show. I'll say that. I think you can probably guess my opinion on Gibate, but yeah, it was bad. All right, we are going to take a pause for the cause. Then we will come back and I'll talk about some anime while I work on this shenanigans. All right. Now is the part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you. That's right, you, the viewer, about ways you can support the channel and what I do here. Everything I'm about to talk about here is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. If you would like to, love it for that. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. Bear with me as I promote myself for a few moments. If you are currently a subscriber to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote, the Tier 2 Blue emote if you're a Tier 2 subscriber. Let the people know being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get that token, you can use it. You can show those emotes in the chat. Being a subscriber means that you're supporting me on a monthly basis, which is great. You don't see ads ever, so you don't see pre-roll ads on my streams. And you also, if I have to run an ad during the stream on a longer stream, you won't see ads then. I try not to do that. But yeah, and I'll know you're supporting me, which is cool. It's fun for me. You could also gift a sub like John did. If you want to be a gift sub person, you could do that. And also bits and coins, always appreciated. The bits are great. If you want to join Harold at the bit the cheerleader board, I should say. If you want to be a cheerleader, you could do that. That's through Twitch. That's not the only way to support me. As I said, I think that's the easiest way because you're already here. But if there's another way and you want to help me out, you have some options. You can join my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear at the $1, $3, $5, or $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. You'll get my schedule for the rest of the month tomorrow before other people do, because I always like to put a post up on Patreon as soon as possible. Yeah, there's a variety of ways to support me, and maybe Patreon makes sense for you. You can also go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Subscribing there is free, of course. If you want to become a member at my YouTube, please consider it. For just $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you will get the video that other people have to wait for Wednesday to see. Right now, my Wednesday videos are about anime from last season that I thought was great. 5 shows that I'm recommending on my program, Kuma Baer. Let's see. Those are all ways to support me on a monthly basis. If you would like to tip, like we just had tonight, which was very kind. Bobby tipped. You can do that through my Ko-Fi or my PayPal. I'll put the links in the chat. You can find all of these links in the show description of the YouTube video later if you're watching this on the archive. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon, through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I take out money and I buy model kits. I am currently working on a kit from my backlog, the Shin Burning Gundam. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm happy to work on that kit. I do have a decent backlog of stuff. Thanks to the wonderful people that purchased things at the end of last month for my birthday. It took a little while before I dived back into my own backlog. But if you also want to buy, you don't have to wait for my birthday. You can do it anytime you want. If you want to buy something from my Amazon wish list, I will buy something, or you buy something from our wish list. It comes to me in the mail. I make a dedicated YouTube video about the thing that you bought, called mailbag video, and then it jumps the queue and becomes the next thing that I built. So I have a backlog of stuff. I'm getting something literally tomorrow that I pre-ordered, I think in like February. But I won't work on that. Instead, I'll work on the thing you bought. And I've got model kits and Lego sets. I got inexpensive kits. I got expensive kits. I just added the, from Gundam Seed Destiny, the Gaia Gundam, which was a reasonable price. Actually, wait, is that? Yeah, I want to double check. It said action figure. Sometimes people list things as action figures, but no, that is a model kit. It's a model kit that transforms. It's got a vehicle mode. But sometimes people upload, they put in the description action figure, and then I freak out for a second. But yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at this page to verify. And it says, about this item, 1/114 scale. A Japanese Bandai product. Gundam is a very popular character all over the world. Japanese import. Gundam is a very popular character all over the world is such a weird thing to put in there. Anyway, I got model kits and Lego sets. See if there's something on the list you'd like to see me build. I got some knockoff Lego on there. I got a bunch of different stuff. I got some gear at the bottom because it's always nice to have some gear as an option. See if there's something there. An entire stream of learning to convert to Transformers is crazy. Yeah. God. High-grade transformations. Yikes. I love that Gundam character, right, Lord Crashin? It's one of my top characters. One of my favorite characters. If you don't want to purchase anything through Amazon because you're trying to avoid it, I get it. Tomorrow is Prime. Next 2 days are Prime. There might be stuff on my wish list that's cheaper. I don't know. Mr. Gundam has some awesome quotes. Indeed. Indeed, Aristophan. I have a throne wish list. That is my alternative to Amazon. I got a few things up there. It's a smaller thing. See if there's something you like to do there. And then if you want to support me in the most convoluted way possible, well, then you got to go to USA Gundam Store. You make an account at USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store. Then they will send you a code for that gift card in your email. Then you send me a whisper here on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or a message on Blue Sky or Mastodon, you know, their private messaging things, with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. Again, the most convoluted way to support me. But it works. People have done it. More people have bought me a gift card than bought something through Throne, which is a wish list provider that is a legitimate business. If you want to support me and you don't want to spend any money, you're here. You can't. You just can't do it. Or you know what? You don't want to. It's not your style. That's fine. I do have a Discord, and you can join that for free. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's a nice little place. Sometimes people just post links to things they think I'd be interested in or they want to talk about, and that's fun. Couple video links for you to check out. There are only 8 isekai this season. It's down from other seasons. So maybe you want to know if I'm going to be watching any of these isekai or if you should check any of them out. Well, I included a link to my Pat Bear's Anime Club episode about those isekai. Not included in that video is the fact that the show that I was like, I might watch this, is that I didn't realize at the time that that was based on the life of a real person. It's a obviously fictional account because you cannot tell me that this person who died maybe as a suicide actually is the main character of an isekai. I don't necessarily believe that, but it is based on a real person, and that makes it tricky to think about. I don't plan on necessarily watching more of that because I didn't love the first episode. It's a fun idea. I don't love that he's a real person. But yes, you're right, Lord Crashington. I don't know if the mangaka of and the anime people, they might know it and I don't know it. That's true. And then if you want to watch a quick, less than a minute long video that I put up as a YouTube short, check out this latest episode of Kuma Baer, my ongoing video series where I recommend shows that I like. I've been recommending shows that were really hits with me in the spring 2024 season, all this month. And so I'm recommending Kaiju number 8. A shonen with a lot of heart and a lot of humor and a lot of fucking big, cool monsters to fight. A guy is a monster and he fights monsters. And it's an isekai, and you should, and it's not an isekai. No, it's a shonen, and you should check out my little short video about why you should watch the show. But yeah, no, it's not an isekai. In fact, we're not talking about either isekai in the next little segment here. I'm going to be talking about 2 shows that I have been watching. And we'll get into that in just a second. Before I do that, I do need to dramatically transition to the overhead camera and drink some water. I'm in need of some water. And then we'll talk about some anime while I keep working on this cool model kit. And we'll do that right now. I know that I've built in a time for me to drink water, but I should probably drink water throughout the stream and not just in the middle of the stream. It's very important because I do go on, and talk a lot there without taking any really breaths, really. But I should probably drink throughout the stream. There is an exclamation point water that I do have. I think that's active. I don't even remember. Let me see. I'm going to try it. I do have drink some water, which tells me to drink some water. That's also your indication. Hey, if you haven't drank much water these days, please do, because it's hot as balls out there and it's humid as balls out there. And so maybe you need a little H2O. And if you don't want it right now, drink some later. I don't know. I'm not your dad, but I do care. So, take it under advisement. Anyway, anime time. So, Shoshimin, How to Become Ordinary, is the same mangaka of a show that I really liked, which is this, kid detective who doesn't want to get involved dealing with this girl that's really interested in things. This is the same mangaka of that. And I don't know, y'all. I'm definitely going to give this a 3rd episode, but episode 2 made me go, huh. Because it was weird. So the basic idea is Kobato and Yuki are childhood friends. Kobato is also friends with another kid. Let's see. Kengo. That's right, Kengo. So all 3 of them were childhood friends, and the reason why it's called How to Become Ordinary is Kobato is a weird kid, and he is, now that he's in high school, out of middle school, he kind of wants to, if he can, blend in and not be such a focal point and not get involved in shenanigans the way he is just not interested in doing. The first episode was him getting involved in a missing item and getting dragged into it, but then, enjoying his time doing it. So it's it's partially, it's seemingly a young love story of Kobato and Yuki maybe getting a relationship. They both talked about not really wanting one and not really understanding it, but they're the 2 main characters of a show set in high school, so they're probably going to end up together. But the other thing is, for the show to make any sense, he has to solve some mysteries. So I was expecting more mystery, especially given what happens at the beginning of this, which is This is now shortly after the events of the first episode, which is they found out that a guy was trying to confess, and then he took an item that belonged to someone to put a note in it, and then she found out that the item was missing, and it became a whole what do you do, and it led to them having a discussion about like love and all of that, and if they were gonna ever fall in love or did it make sense. And then the episode ended with Yuki's bike getting stolen. And I was like, okay, well, that's episode 2, right? Like, we got to figure out who stole this bike. And that's where, you know, like these two characters that don't, that, you know, this guy, this genius guy, Kabato, who doesn't want to be, who doesn't want to, like, be noticed and doesn't want to stand out, is going to be forced to stand out. Okay, that's interesting. No. They haven't found the bike yet. It's been some time, and Yuki's like not necessarily upset about the bike still being missing. She's more upset because she had a meeting with her guidance counselor, and it turns out that her bike was found at the scene of a crime. There was a break-in at a high school student's apartment, and her bike was found there. So people think that people are insinuating that she's involved in it somehow, and she's fucking pissed off about that. And you would say, oh, okay, well, they're going to figure out who stole the bike because that's part of some kind of like a bigger story now. This is our way in for them, like putting on their detective caps and figuring shit out. No, Kobato is basically just like, I guess like, let's go back to St. Mark, the cake shop from the first episode, and we'll hang out. And then Kengo calls, and he's like, I need you to come by my house. And he's like, well, I'm hanging out with Yuki, and so no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, bring her along. So then we go to, they still go and get a cake, but then they bring the cake to our guy here, the childhood friend that instigated them being involved in some shenanigans in the previous episode. So I was like, hell yeah, here we go. Let's do it. This is going to be a short visit, and then the plot will pick up, right? No. This is the rest of the episode. Kengo tells he's going to make some hot cocoa. And he kind of mentions the recipe a little bit. And they're confused because it doesn't seem to make sense what he's saying. It doesn't quite add up. It's weird. And then Yuki heads to the bathroom, and now it's the reason why Kengo called Kobato over, because he's like, "Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Something's weird right now. Something's going on, and I want answers." Because apparently Kabuto was kind of invisible in middle school, and that's his plan here. That we know that is his real plan, his real goal is to be invisible in high school. And he's like, "You've changed." And he's like, "Nothing's changed. I don't act any differently." And he's like, "I think I'll just leave." So we know immediately, oh, it's his friendship with Yuki that's changed him, right? He's growing up and he's different, even if he doesn't want to admit that. That's what's happening here, but he doesn't know that. In the kitchen, they run into Chisato, which is Kengo's sister. And that is Yuki has been chatting with her, and they're like, talking about how he cleaned up and he made this cocoa, and it's weird. And it's mostly just like a sister being annoyed with her brother, but there's a couple parts that are like, oh yeah, it is weird. Like, how did you make cocoa like this? It's strange. And so she's just like, hey, you're good with this stuff. Help me figure out how this works. And so they like try to make it based on what he said, but that doesn't add up. And then they're just like trying to figure it out. And then they're like, okay, let's really... And the rest of the episode is them trying to figure out how to make hot chocolate the way he made hot chocolate. Like literally, that's the rest of the episode. And they come up with a theory, and then they make it, and then they leave, and then Chisato kind of insults her brother but she starts insulting him, and he's like, actually, you're very smart. And then they go to Yuki's home. And Kobato is just like, hey, sorry I'm acting like a detective. I'm telling you that I don't think I want to do that anymore. And she's like, well, no matter what, we're both aiming for a ordinary life, so don't worry about it. And I feel like there's stuff missing, which is, it's a mystery show. So there's stuff missing from their backstory that I think will be important at some point. But that's the episode, and the reason why I'm like, I'm going to give this a third episode, but I don't know if I'm going to give it a fourth, is that, like, it doesn't have that magic. Like, again, I am not saying that this show has to be like the other show the mangaka created that I really like. It doesn't. It by no means does it need to be. And I have to say the name. I haven't said the name. But Hyoka is gorgeous. It is this like clever, smart, interesting story about like a young person, too smart for his own good, that meets like an inquisitive person, and her inquisitive nature pulls him along to do a bunch of stuff he doesn't want to do, and along the way he helps people, and he unravels a really long, interesting mystery. And then there's like the second half, that's most of the season, and then like they need to fill the episodes, so they do a really short thing that is like a short, like it's about a short film, student film, and trying to figure out like some stuff, and that's not good. It's not, the whole season is not excellent. The first arc is fucking phenomenal, and then it does kind of fall off a cliff. But anyway, this is not that, and it doesn't have to be that, but it's not giving me the stuff that I'm looking for in the story. It's not hitting me the way I kind of, I don't want to say need it to, the way I want it to. It's just not, yeah. So maybe this episode was just like window dressing, like trying to do some other character stuff. The fact that it was all about trying to figure out the weird way that one kid made hot chocolate is very strange. I'm hoping the episode 3 like starts moving towards the mystery portion, figuring out who stole the bike and what that has to do with a break-in and larger stuff like that. I think like that could get very interesting. That could be something that I'm that appeals to me. But right now, I'm left kind of wondering why this is an anime. You know what I mean? Like, so far, other than it looking pretty gorgeous and having some similar vibes to a successful anime, I'm like, I'm just not buying it yet. And I would like to buy in, because again, it's very pleasant to look at. A show that I'm into, I know that it's not for everybody, and again, I'm going to talk about my dear friend Nokotan. I don't know if I can convey this because it's a weird comedy show. I don't know if I can fully convey this whole damn thing to you. I don't know. Maybe I can. Maybe my description of it will immediately make sense to you and you'll go, yeah, I got to fucking watch this. Or you'll go, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Or you'll just say, Pat, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about here. You just sprout out some nonsense. But anyway, episode 1, we've got a girl named Koshi in episode 1. This is episode 2 right now, but I want to give you the recap from episode 1. Episode 1, we got a girl named Koshi. She used to be a delinquent. She is hiding that part of her life. She is starting over in another school. She inadvertently, accidentally gets wrapped in to a girl named Nokotan, who just seems like a regular girl, except she has antlers coming out of her head, and she is seemingly incredibly fucking bizarre and weird. Is she a girl? Is she a deer? Is she both? Anyway, Koshi gets wrapped up and gets stuck, basically forced into becoming the president of the Deer Club. And she's like not happy about getting that happening and getting roped in all this stuff. But she figures, well, if I've got to be a president of a club, I'm going to make it work. So she goes to the clubhouse, and she's getting it set up because she's like, well, if I'm going to be president, I'm going to make this look good and do all that. Okay, so I need 4 and 5, right? Yeah. 4 and 5. Okay. Sorry, I got to make sure I'm doing this right. So she's like, well, if I've got to do it, I'm going to do it right. We did have a cliffhanger at the end of the previous episode. There were a bunch of deer observing Koshi, and there also was a girl that we didn't get introduced to, who was that. We'll get introduced to her in this episode. Also, a funny, quote unquote, I think it was pretty humorous, but an announcer does a recap of episode 1 and the life, and basically just like recaps it, but like as if that, how do I say this? The announcer is a shonen announcer. So we are basically talking about this main character as if this was not a weird comedy slice of life, but instead a boy-focused, for boys-focused shonen. So we are approaching the show like that. We're approaching it like that. So there's a bit of a different twist to it, but kind of explaining what I've explained here. Koshi heads to the Deer Club, and it's trash. The place is she decorated, but someone's ruined it, and she's pissed off. And Nokotan is hiding in the corner, and she's like, immediately is just like, what did you do? Why did you do this? She's blaming Nokotan. But Nokotan's like, it's not me. It was like this. Somebody is out there trying to kill me. And she talks about how, like, so there are some traps, and she's like, this is really messed up. And then someone throws a kunai. Someone throws there's a ninja around, apparently. Nokotan dodges it, and Koshi's, like, trying to figure out who this is, because she immediately is just like, oh, shit, Nokotan was not lying. Someone's after her life. And then that person throws deer crackers into the room. And it is clearly a trap because Nokotan cannot resist deer crackers. How could she? How could she resist the deer crackers? It's her favorite snack. She's a deer girl. Deer girl? Girl deer? So yeah. We find out who is doing this, and it is Anko, Koshi's sister, who is a siscon. She is clearly mad. She is doing this because Nokotan, because Koshi is different because of Nokotan, and Koshi is now not around as much, and it is clearly jealousy. Nokotan, maybe because of a relationship reason, or maybe because she's just a weirdo. Maybe it's a translation issue. I don't know. But she basically just like, hey, don't try to steal my woman from me, which feels weird for episode 2 to be like that, declaring her. Anko frees Nokotan because she wants to have a fair fight, and that there's a bet about this fight that if Nokotan loses, she has to go back to Nara Park and live as a deer and not as a student. But if Anko loses, Nokotan and Koshi can be together in whatever way they are together, and Anko has to accept it. And then also, Nokotan wants Anko's deer crackers. Gotta have those deer crackers. And then Ukai is there, who we met in the first episode, and we now have it's now a fighting tournament arc. The shonen announcer in the beginning of the episode that was apparently going to indicate that we are in a shonen now. We're in a for boys are considered for boys style show. Trying to get those clicks there. But yes, it's a high octane for boys anime now, which is very weird. It's very strange that that's what we're dealing with right now, but it is what we're dealing with. There's an audience, and it's not a fight. It's a battle, right? But it's a answering questions about Koshi. And Ukai has a ton of very embarrassing, very personal questions. And Anko is very excited about them because she, loves her sister. And Koshi is like mortified. And then Nokotan is like not mad for Koshi. Nokotan is just like, well, my thinking is this could help raise your popularity in school, which she's never talked about before. And I don't know where that came from. And I'm like, what did I miss? But then I realized, oh, wait, this is a weird fucking show. And I didn't miss anything. I might have missed something in my notes here. But like, no, I think this is just a weird show that makes big choices. Including the part where Anko sets off a trap because it looks like that Anko is going to win. Nokotan dodges. And Koshi at the same time is like, I'm leaving. I should have left a while ago. And there's a moment there where it looks like a kunai from Anko is going to hit her own sister. But then Nokotan protects Koshi and gets a kunai to the heart. And seemingly fucking dies. Because angel deer show up and lead her to heaven. And then there's a deer that is like Saint Michael or God, but a deer. And then that deer is just like, no thanks, and rejects Nokotan. So her spirit goes back into her body. But don't worry, that was a hallucination because Nokotan had a deer cracker in her breast pocket or chest pocket, and that allowed her to escape death. And then Anko's like, I'm sorry I tried to kill you. But also thank you for saving my sister. And then Nokotan is like, well, if it wasn't for that deer cracker, I would have died. Seemingly ignoring the part where, well, you would have died from the kunai that she threw. But whatever, let's ignore that. So they've decided to settle their differences and become fast friends. And then it's just like, it ends with like Nokotan and Koshi chatting in class. And I don't fucking know, y'all. Doesn't St. Peter meet people at the gates of heaven, so it would be St. P. Deer, says some John. Yeah, I don't know. Look, it was abstract, right? The folks that make this don't, they don't know. It's not their religion. Hey, I'm going to say something I've never said before. The CGI in this is important to be there and makes sense. It's not a, there's some CGI in this. It's just the deer. The deer in this are done with CGI and everything else is digital. And it makes the show so much better because it's weird. It's a style. It is seemingly, I don't know for sure, of course. It is seemingly a stylistic choice to have those be CGI. Okay. Do I think you should watch My Dear Friend Nokotan? Maybe. I think you should watch the first episode of My Dear Friend Nokotan. Because it's balls weird. It's so fucking weird. And you should do yourself you should do yourself the due diligence and see if this is a show that interests you, that appeals to you. I can tell you, your friend Pat thinks that My Dear Friend Nokotan whips ass. I think it's fucking cool as hell. So I would say you should check it out. I think it's fun and weird. and strange, and I'm really into it. I really like my dear friend Nokotan. I can't wait for more deer. There are characters we haven't met yet. I want to meet them characters. I want to know what's going on with this world. I would like more world building. It is just a strange thing. I understand why it's not for everyone, because it is absurdist. Like I said, there is maybe stuff I didn't even mention that happens in this episode because it just is a weird show. And so I might not have said everything. I think I took pretty good notes on it. So I'm going to keep watching it. I don't know if I'm going to keep covering it. Honestly, I think I'm going to keep covering it. I think there's something to it, and it's so strange that I do want to keep talking about it. At the very least, you now know at one of the shows that I will be talking about in my recommendations, which I'll say this. I actually don't know if that's going to be my next video. I have to record a Pat Bear's Anime Club. I want to record a Pat Bear's Anime Club this Saturday for next week, because I usually record on Saturdays. And I have... I think it's too early in this season to record a summer 2024 recommendation. I just think it's probably too early. So I've been thinking a thing I haven't done before is my favorite shows of the half year. And now it's, there are 2 seasons. We're in the 3rd season of the year. So I could talk about like my favorite shows from winter and spring 2024. Because I do Pat Bear's Anime Club where I'm like, hey, here's what I'm looking forward to the most this season. And that's, I think, fine. But I'm like, well, that's not, I think those are fine videos. But it turns out like sometimes I think like this is a show I'm interested in. And it turns out like I didn't like that show. Now, once I watched a few more episodes, so I kind of want to wait a little longer in the season before I do that. So I think that's actually going to be the one after that. So this next episode, I think, is going to be me talking about my favorite shows from the first half of the year. I think that's what it'll end up being. Honestly, Thursday and Friday are the days that I start doing heavy research for that, getting my PowerPoint together, or my Google slideshow together, and getting my head around what I want to talk about, doing the research if I need to do research. I usually do that. There are some videos I do that take way longer and they require a lot more research. In the future, I'm going to do an episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club where I talk about... I've done one on bait and switches, and I've thought about doing another of that, but I think actually the next one I'm going to do is I want to do a video on the plot twist reveal, or the explanation of the thing, and how sometimes that's just terrible. And obviously that's a spoilery one. That's not one for everybody. But I would like to talk about that, where I will tell you in the video, I'm like, here's what happens in this show. I have some examples. Love Flops. Love Flops is a seemingly bad anime about it's a harem anime. It's a goofy guy that suddenly a bunch of girls really like, and he has no idea why. And it's really like cookie cutter. And there's a twist there. And then the rest of the show is following the heightened logical conclusion of said twist. But it's also a bad one, and it's terrible. So I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to talk about that. And there's some other shows that I kind of want to talk about. That one's going to require more effort because I got to really hone in on it. There's some shows I want to rewatch. I'm looking at people's lists to see other examples of those shows. It's also one that not everyone's going to watch because it's going to be full of spoilers, because I'm going to tell you in the same way that I spoiled a bad show, I will probably end up, explaining a good show, that I still think has a bullshit end. I don't think I would include, even though I do think it's bullshit, that the revelation that Eren Yeager has the future version of Eren Yeager set up all of the major events in to end the cycle of all of it. Eren knew it all along. The thing that his father does that seems completely unbelievable, and like the one thing that there were a bunch of things that in Attack on Titan that people were like, this just doesn't fucking make any sense, and it feels like they're retconning why this happened. There was one big one that people were like, this incident just doesn't make any sense at all. Turns out it was Eren from the future who could affect memories of the past, made it happen. It's all been a master plan of Eren Yeager. That was the big reveal of Attack on Titan. One of the big reveals was that Eren set all this shit up. And it's like, okay, cool, sure. But yeah, I think I got a video in doing that, but that's going to require more work, and I'm going to do it later. We got some time left in the stream. It's Eren Yeager's all the way down. Yes. I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? You playing any video games? You watching anything on TV or the computer, you know, or whatever? You going to the movies? What are you into? You reading any books? Let me know. I played a one-shot. It was a 3rd edition one-shot yesterday that I really enjoyed. I'm going to explain it. I'm not going to explain what we did because it was just an adventure. I'm going to explain the collective because I haven't explained the collective in a while, and I think it would be good to explain what I mean when I say I am part of the collective. Around the time of the pandemic starting in 2020, I got invited into a Discord full of people that like to play tabletop games. And D&D and a bunch of, you know, like Fiasco and all kinds of different things, different games. There's a big group that likes Laser and Feelings. We are a collective of, I believe the Discord is now 45 people, with an active group of, let's say, 20 people. There's some people that are more active than others. And the idea was, because of distance, because of COVID, and in some instances, there's like people who are just like, I can't commit to a long table game. It is a bunch of people who, some of them are in long games, like I'm in a long game. But then some other people are just like, yeah, I just can't commit to that, but I still want to play some games. The idea is you can keep your characters between games. There are GMs, DMs that are available. I've run a bunch of games of Fiasco because I really enjoy that game and I like running it. And the premise is you can set up a time. You know, like people put together like, hey, I want to run a game. Is anybody around? I need 4 people. We need 2 more people because like you have some personal friends in there. Maybe you see that there's a GM you don't love, so you don't say you're going to do that one. But then somebody else is like, hey, we need people, and you message and go, actually, I am available for that. I'm going to do this one. Because sometimes people are just like, hey, I want to play this, and I want to run a game of this or whatever. And the premise is that every character is in the same universe, in the same world, and we're all members of an adventuring guild. And there are quests. So people are doing one-shot quests, where they're like, hey, this is going to take a couple hours to run this. Sometimes it's GMs who are like, I want to do a version of this with my home game, so I would like to practice it with some people or test it out. So I got this location, and you can have backstory. Maybe you ran a quest and you failed it with somebody, and now you're running another quest together, and you want to bring that up. You want to bring that in conversation when you're like, oh yeah, well we fucked up that last thing, or we nailed it, or you know, like, yeah, that heist went bad, or whatever. Or you can just be a stranger. You're new to the guild and you don't know anybody because you're starting a new character. And basically, if you are running something like 3E or 5 or whatever you're running, The GM can kind of just give you like basic character sheets and you fill out some information and kind of play with you around for that fiasco. They can, you know, run the die rolls and all that and kind of build out your characters from there. And it's just a way to get some fucking gaming in, which I love to do. I like running games. I like playing games. So this collective has been awesome. People come and go. People take long breaks. So people like... there is no like requirement saying like, okay, hey, you haven't played in a while, so we need you to play a game. Like, there's none of that. There's none of the like, hey, we haven't talked to you in a while, like what's happening, what gives, anything like that. There have been instances where people that have never played a single time have been asked to like, hey, do you still want to do this? So that's not like crowded when people get like exclamation points and all that. So there have been some people who've like, oh yeah, I thought I would do this more often, but I've only done it once or whatever, and they bust out. And we've brought a few new people in here and there. We really don't need that many new people. It's really fun. I really look forward to doing that. As I said, I do have a home game, but my home game, half the people in there are incredibly busy a lot with a lot of projects. And so it becomes difficult to get all of them, to get everyone on board, and we don't want to play with somebody missing. So that has filled the void for me personally to have an outlet like this Sunday where I played some stuff, and then you just play whenever, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, sometimes I'm in the mood to run a scenario in Fiasco or Lasers and Feelings, and I will, which are the ones I primarily run. I don't run D&D campaigns, like little mini things, because I've not been inspired to come up with one. And also, every once in a while, someone's just like, hey, I have a setting. Does anybody want it? Like, there's a whole folder, not a folder, this whole channel of suggestions where people are like, hey, I had this idea if anybody wants to run with it, which is very fun. Let me look at some of what you've been writing. As far as video games, just Hearthstone and Helldivers. The H's, the two big H's. And I played a little bit of Mech Builder today to just get a little progress in before the stream tomorrow. Ghost Valve says, still Transformers reading, spent a lot of time helping a friend out the past few days. Nice. Well, good on you, Ghost Valve. Hope that went well. Sharing is caring. Lastbrick says, had some free time and ended up rewatching Michael Clayton and Thief. Other than that, just grinding class up in Final Fantasy 14. Fuck yeah, enjoy your Final Fantasy. Hell yeah, we're having a great fucking time. Wristfan says, I finished the main story quest in Final Fantasy 14 this weekend. Evo is getting me to start poking around, or start playing around. I think you're posting it now. To start playing around with Tekken 8. Oh, okay. Yeah, Evo. Evo's a thing. Hell yeah. Well, good on you, Aristofan. Playing your video games. Mech Builder comes out tomorrow. I do not know how much it costs because I have the game, because I got the code. I will be playing it on stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope people will check that out because that game is fun. And it just seems like, it's the work of one person with some help, but primarily one developer. Who took a lot of feedback out of the demo. And, we're going to play through it. I'm hoping that we can complete the part and get to the kit bashing part, but I don't know how, it depends on how long it takes to get through the tutorial stuff and get through all the building there to then get into the kit bashing. But I'll try to get in there. I got to get this part in here set in a way that I can then... I got to get this polycap in. Like this. I'm using my tweezers here to just kind of guide it in, because this is where it's going to connect with the legs, because we're moving on to the feet. And then it's got to go... Yeah, the hole has to be right there, which it is. Lord Chris says, I got College Football 25, so I'm playing the career mode as a quarterback with all the vintage gear I could pick so that I look like the coolest player in the world. Hell yeah. The most gonna get fucked up CTE player in the world. Nathan Explosion, hey Nathan, welcome, says, started Elden Ring DLC, got my Bison to Master rank R-Tank, so I'm feeling more confident in my Evo pool. Hell yeah, Nathan, good luck in your Evo pool. Good luck to all the competitors out there that we know. That rules. Hell yeah. Have a good time. Have a good time at Evo. All right. I'm not done with the feet here, but we are going to end there. The feet do have stickers that have to be applied. This is towards the end of the stickers. We still have a few more. Oh, these might be the last 2 stickers, actually. Yeah, these might be the final 2 stickers, 6 and 7. So yeah, we'll finish off the stickers on Thursday when we continue working on this kit. This kit is coming together. It's looking real nice. We'll keep working on it on Thursday, so come back for that. We are going to wrap up the stream tonight. I hope everyone had a good time. I had a lot of fun hanging out with all of you. We are going to end with a raid. That is only at every stream around here. It is Monday, so I am going to verify, is Mary Kish streaming? Because if it's Mary Monday, then that's where we're going to go hang out, because Mary rules. We always end with the raid, and John says, Mary Kish, not streaming. So, sorry, we can't go raid Mary, because Mary is not streaming, which is okay. We'll figure out someone else that we're going to go raid. Okay, they're on break here, it looks like. Oh, that's a bummer. I thought we were going to go raid Loading Ready Run, but they are on break, so we're not going to go raid. She's out because she was celebrating her dad's birthday this weekend and was getting home on a late flight. Lord Crashington, thank you for the update. Thank you for the Mary Kish update. She'll be making it up this week at some point. Nice. Well, if that works out, we'll go there. Okay, so Loading Ready Run is on break, but we are going to raid Loading Ready Run because they are great, and they are doing a subathon, so more shenanigans will happen. They're just on break right now, but they're on break in a way that you can sometimes see them wander in. So we're going to go hang out there. We'll join the 1,500 people. Heather should be coming up in a sec, says Goth Valve. Nice. Yeah, so we're going to raid, and that's good because Heather raids us sometimes. So it's great to go and support her. And Loading Ready Run are great people. If you want to become a subscriber there or do some bits to extend the subathon, you can do that. Please come back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, as I dive into the wonderful world of Mech Builder. We're gonna have a cozy time making some digital mechs. Doing some digital gunpla. And I'll see you in the future. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.